What's going on, guys? So this video may actually be a YouTube only video. I've been spending all of my video making time on Patreon, and I would encourage you to meet me over there, because there's a lot more going on Patreon, and there's just a whole lot of weirdness with YouTube, honestly. A lot of censoring and just all kinds of stuff that I get to avoid if you go to Patreon. So patreon.com/Shieldbearer of Faith. We're even doing training videos over there now. So I had a really cool moment with my daughter this weekend. One that I probably am going to remember for a while. It's probably going to be one of those foundational memories for me with her. And it was so simple, but to me it meant so much. And it gave a lot of perspective, I think, on, just life right now. How we need to remember to slow down and notice the little things. And in this case, the little thing was my little daughter, my little girl. So we've been working on, my wife, have been working on getting us to a homestead. We have purchased land. We have put a camper on it. We have been staying at the camper periodically, and very soon, within a couple weeks, we will be permanently living at the camper. Been working on changing departments, all kinds of stuff. Lots going on. We've been figuring out the utilities. We've been figuring out the specific things you got to make sure you do with a camper, because I've never stayed full-time in a camper before. There's a lot to learn. A lot of busy stuff. There's a lot of busy stuff across the country, isn't there? A lot of things going on. A lot of unrest, a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, a lot of potential changes, lots of stuff. And amongst all that stuff, if you're not careful, you can get bogged down by it. You can get too focused on it. You can get too distracted about it. And you can forget how important the little things are. So, one of my favorite things that we have put on our new homestead is a big tractor tire. A buddy of mine really got me into more of the CrossFit workout type of thing, and I really like to exercise. And with that, he had a big tractor tire that we would beat on with a sledgehammer, do tire flips, and do sit-ups within the tire. All kinds of stuff that you can do with just a big, heavy object. Pretty cool. Well, it's a recent acquisition of mine, and I've been thoroughly enjoying using it, but wouldn't you believe that your kids notice what you do? My daughter's a very sweet little girl. She's a very smart little girl, and she is a daddy's girl. And so she watches whatever I do. And so I was sweating to death because it was like 100 degrees and swinging a sledgehammer at this big old tire that I've acquired out in just the front yard of the homestead. And so she comes over, she says, "Daddy, what are you doing?" And she's 3, she's little, right? And so I tell her, I'm working out, sweetheart. And we chat a little bit more, and it occurs to me that she is interested in what Daddy's doing. In some things, hopefully not all, she wants to be like Daddy. And so, trying to pay attention to these little moments, I go and I get her own hammer. And it starts off as a claw hammer, but then we end up going full-blown shopping for a rubber mallet, so I don't have to worry about this claw hammer bouncing back and hitting her in the face, And it's this whole event. We, tape up the handle with the color of duct tape she wants, and we get her this hammer, and she asks for her hammer now. Well, then the day after that, and I thoroughly enjoyed us having our little workout session. The day after that, we had gone and found on our land there was a bunch of trash that we've had to clean up. We've had to put in a lot of effort to get it cleared. Had all kinds of debris. Well, amongst that debris, we had tires. You can't just get rid of tires. I didn't know this. Maybe you don't know this. Tires, you can't just trash like normal, apparently. At least not where I'm at. And so we kind of just put them in a stack. Normal vehicle tires. And so it dawned on my wife, hey, why don't we get her own tire for her to beat on and flip and do sit-ups on? So that's exactly what we did. So the next morning, she's got her own tire that she's going to get to use her new hammer with. And she's going to work out with Daddy. And we do bicep curls with cinder blocks. So she ends up having a little rock that we found that she's doing bicep curls with. She wants to be like Daddy. And then there was this one moment after we had worked out maybe 15 minutes together, and I'm sweating to death, and she's a little bit flushed in the face. And we go over, and I say, hey, let's go get some water, sweetie. So we go over, and we sit on a picnic table that we've got. And we just kind of stare at the front yard. I get us a bottle of water. I sit down next to her, put my arm behind her, and we just pass this bottle of water back and forth. I'll take a sip, and I'll hand it to her, and she'll take a sip. And then she'll tell me, your turn, Daddy. And she'll hand it back to me. That exact moment is the memory that caused me to want to make this video. Just sitting on the picnic table, staring off at nothing. Both just calm, alone, just me and my little girl. Sipping some water and sharing it together. One of the coolest moments I've had recently. And also one of the simplest. One of the simplest. And you know, as I think back to the memories I've got of my childhood, a lot of the memories that were the most impactful with me and my parents tended to be the simplest. They didn't have all the flashy things. It wasn't the most expensive things. It wasn't necessarily the trip to Disney World. Some of it was the simplest. With all of this stuff going on in the world, we gotta remember to not miss the little moments. We gotta remember what really matters. I was so thankful to God for that moment. And it really just made my heart melt a little bit. As you go throughout your day today, guys, what moments really matter to you? What people really matter? Make sure you take time to focus on the little things. And then as you get time, feel free to join us on Patreon. Hope it helps, guys. Be careful out there. I know there's no shortage of weird things going on, but God's got it, and we'll see you later.